We'll just give folks a moment to jump in.
Mhm.
I see that we have some people here already. Hi, folks. Just want to make sure that you can hear me okay. Check 1, 2. And Yeuda, can we get a little check 1, 2 from you,
Yeah, one,
please?
two, 1, 2. What's up, everyone?
All right. If someone could just let us know in the chat that you can hear us, that would be great.
Yep.
Awesome. Carrie can hear us. Okay, folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm super excited to be back for office hours. Yes, Yeuda is the goat. Uh, uh, we have an extensive series of office hours this month, so be sure to check out the lineup. And then we'll also be back in April with some patching events. There's also going to be a couple of extra special streaming events coming up. They're not announced yet, but please keep your eyes open for those on both the cycling website, cycling social media, and the likes. But today, I am super excited to have Yeuda Ben-Atar here with us. Yeuda, welcome.
Thank you, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, likewise, man. I'm stoked for this. Yeuda and I go way back. I think we both pretty much turned up in LA around the same time. But Yeuda has been in the music industry, music education, and well beyond that, within the light, within Ableton, and beyond for quite some time, right? You got
Yep.
some years on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I know time goes by fast. But yeah, dude, we know, wow. I think we met each other like 2010
Yeah,
back in the day, which
yeah.
was awesome. I don't remember how we got connected, but it was definitely around the Max Ableton stuff. Maybe through
Yes.
Chris, our mutual friend.
Yes. Chris was working. What was it? Iconic. I can't remember the an
Icon Collective
educator's
could be.
icon collect. Yeah. Wow, I forget now. There was so many. That was a just different period. YouTube learning wasn't a thing yet, and there was like a million electronic music schools in Los Angeles. Like there was
Yeah,
so many.
absolutely. And we talked about opening one, and I ended up
Yes.
opening one. And I had that for 7 years until the pandemic, BeatLab Academy, which I closed during the pandemic, and now I do everything online.
Yeah, that was wild to me. There was I mean, I remember me and Chris had a plan at one point. Oh man, there was some I completely even forgot about that.
I know.
Um but yeah, you can't we met in 2010. I realized today ahead of this stream, I don't know too much about what was going on before then, and like, when did you get into electronic music? When did you come to the US? That kind of stuff. Like,
Yep.
I don't know a lot about that I don't know much about what happened before we first met. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'll just tell my story briefly. I started music very young. About, I think, fourth grade, I started piano. I played piano for like 3 years. My teacher at the time, it was very primitive music software at the time. There was some, the advanced, expensive stuff. I think Cubase at the time, whatever it was. But I remember it was a few years before Fruity Loops Beta came out. My
Mm.
piano teacher already somehow saw that I have affinity for computers. My brother is like a genius computer programmer, and I also always was good with computers. So he introduced me to this extremely primitive music programming software. And a year later, I found Fruity Loops Beta. And we started through a friend. My friend, his dad was a jazz fusion musician with a lot of synths and drum machines and samplers in his house. And he found Fruity Loops. He showed me that, and we started making diss tracks on each other's moms. I mean, seventh grade, seventh grade kids. But very
Yeah,
early
yeah,
on,
yeah,
we
yeah,
started using Fruity Loops.
yeah.
It was beta at the time. It was like white, black dots on like a grid. It was weird. So I used that for a few years. Then I moved to Reason, which I still love. Unfortunately, what happened to it. And then I found it was about high school. I think it was like after I graduated high school, there was a period. I'm from a country where it's you have to go to the army. It's mandatory. I had to go for 3 years. So before the army, after I graduated high school, I found weed. After high school, weirdly, and I became such a hippie pacifist, just a hippie dude. And I started playing guitar. I've finished with all the electronic stuff. Start playing guitar and didgeridoo and a bunch of hippie stuff. So I became a singer songwriter, and that was kind of like my escape in the army. I hated the army so much. Um, the still a software, but it used to be a software called Soulseek. If people
Mm,
know, there was just a story about it going online through Vice, where there's one troll flooded Soulseek. Soulseek is like the old school Napster, where people can connect to each other's computers and download music. And now, recently, I saw a story about this troll flooding Soulseek with AI covers of Homer Simpson singing famous like music,
yeah.
which was so sad and unfortunate because Soulseek is amazing. So I was on Soulseek for 3 years, fanatically, every day for like 8 hours, downloading music and listening to all kinds of music. That's what opened my mind really into the styling, the genres, the music cultures around the world, and that's what I teach today. I teach styling, how to create different genres of music. And after the army, I was again a singer songwriter, kind of like guitars and pianos and keys. And then I went to music school in Tel Aviv. And then there I was exposed to the electronic side of music. I really fell in love back again with electronic music. And I start doing controllerism very early on. Early on to the point where I was like, when controllerism start going out, early mid 2000s, when it start becoming a thing, I did my schoolwork, my dissertations, everything was about controllerism. My
Mm,
dissertation was about Daedalus and the monome. And I remember no one had monome in Israel. My family bought me for my birthday on eBay Flying Lotus's monome. He sold it at the time to buy a Rhodes. I still have it. It's signed with Flying Lotus. And Daedalus
wow.
and Flying Lotus. Yeah, it's right here.
That's wild.
Let me see if I can grab it. Just 1 second.
That's crazy. Daedalus, I actually realized we need to have him on a stream.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Here,
and
here's the mono. Flying Lotus
wow,
signed. Yeah.
that's wild. Your parents bought it for you from eBay so that he could buy a Rhodes.
My entire family came together because he was already a name back then, and it was sold it for much more than it was worth, but it was impossible to get,
Yeah.
especially there in the Middle East. It was impossible to get. So that was amazing. And, Daedalus and Flying Lotus obviously are huge influences. I'm honored to call them friends today. And I just saw Alfred at NAM. We hung out. Um, so yeah, so that's really got me back into electronic music, controllerism, kind of combined with all the singer songwriting and playing live instruments and stuff.
Nice.
And that's it. And then I quit music school in the middle because then my girlfriend, who was American, got a job in LA. That's how I got here. And 50, I mean, since 2009, I moved here. That's how I got here. And then after about a year or two, I became a certified trainer. And then I started teaching at schools. And then I opened my own school called Beat Lab Academy. That was for 7 years. It was super cool. Closed it during the pandemic. And now for last couple of years, I'm doing mostly online stuff. But yeah, dude, I think my main specialty is that I'm still a musician at heart. I'm still an instrumentalist, but I do a lot of stuff now with controllers and hacking, video game controllers. Maybe we'll have time to see in all those, building my own control, stuff like that. So I'm kind of a hacker musician.
Mm. I mean, I think a lot of us are. I mean, this is the beauty of maths, right? Like, you don't need to be a fully certified computer scientist to make use of it, to build your own stuff. I'd say probably the majority of Macs users, Macs for Live users don't have a computer science or coding degree or background.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's the beauty of it, for sure. Wow, that is a crazy story. I love it.
Thank you.
I did just see FL Studio. Just there's now a online. You can now use FL in the browser. I think
Yep.
it's the
Which is
first fully fledged DAW to be browser only, or
it
not
seems
browser
like
only, but
it seems like the new DAWs are going that. I know it's very controversial. I am sorry for even bringing it up. This is another conversation we can talk about. I can talk about for hours. But even Suno now is all online. So
mm,
I know the guy who builds Suno Studio, like the actual DAW that they're developing, and it seems like that's where the DAWs are going. At least the new ones that are being, because I think FL Studio it's like full on just on the web. I mean, can be about that version.
it's
So
huge. I mean,
those are going there.
I think about, I just think about accessibility for those that, you know, don't have the means to have maybe even a powerful computer or this or that, but they can run Google Chrome. Um, yeah, I think about all the school districts that have Chromebooks, right? They can now have a fully fledged DAW in their classroom.
Absolutely. No, it's crazy. And Fruity Loops still is amazing, I gotta say. I love Fruity Loops. I just an Ableton guy, but I have love for all the DAWs. You'll see I have all of them. I'm using mostly Ableton, but Fruity Loops still I open it up every now and then. Reason, Bitwig, Pro Tools, even Renoise I love. The
Right,
Jackal.
right.
They're all so awesome.
So you came in. When did you arrive in LA?
I came here 2009, fresh off
Yeah,
the boat. I knew English because I learned English in second grade. Everyone speaks English in Israel, but my English wasn't as fast. I wasn't like if I stand in a circle with a bunch of friends and I think of a joke, it takes me like a minute to translate it in my head. You lose the moment. Now, after 16 years, I already able to think in English. I'm able to be more fluid. But dude, it took me a while. Took me out. I remember I went to Guitar Center to look for a job, and they didn't accept me. I did understand why. I don't want someone with this thick accent. My accent was even thicker back then, selling me stuff. I want, American accent. So, but I was so furious because I was so overqualified. But then, and even all the schools didn't took me until I became certified. And
right.
then they hired me, and then I taught in many schools before I opened my own. But yeah, dude, it took me 5 years to get used to the culture, the language. It's different.
And LA
It's
is a beast. I mean,
it's a beast.
I know this because I went through it. Just the amount of time and mental bandwidth it takes in just driving around LA,
Oh
just
my god.
getting to know where you're going. Um, and then, yeah, yes, it is a cultural melting pot, but yeah, I mean, the California accent is the most dominant. Uh, but
You know,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot to learn about LA that just is part of moving there before you get into your own career or your own creativity, and yeah, it's a wild city to move to.
it
Yeah,
is. Dude, to be honest with you, I'm 16 years, 17 years here. And I got to a point where I don't leave the house much. I have my setup here. I'm in my house. I'm living East LA, which I love this area. So I don't leave the house that much. Maybe friends here 5 minutes from here. It's just too
yeah.
much to drive to
I
that.
mean, it
It's too
just
big.
just to go to lunch, it can take the better part of your day. Um,
Dude, exactly.
it's
Exactly.
wild. It's why I think all of the app services that deliver have been so successful in Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
I see some
Uh,
people in the chat saying they have the old school 256 mono. That was always my dream. This is too small.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. You can do some cool stuff with it. I'll show you. I translated even one of the two sequencers from this to the push. I will show you later. But the 256 was always my dream. Which one you have? The 1828?
The 128,
Yeah, so
but
that's what I would say is the minimum. This might be too limited for most applications, but the
yeah.
256, that's
But
was.
I didn't they bring out a new 256
I'm
recently?
pretty sure they have a new
Yes.
uh, production for
Yeah.
the. They don't look at the old school ones, and they have those variable brightness
Yeah,
LEDs that can do
the
more,
new 256 looks incredible, but and the beauty of it too is it's quite size-wise quite reasonable.
and it's much
Um
thinner. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's crazy, dude. I don't know when this was like 2003, dude. Everything still works, which is crazy.
The build
Like the
quality,
solid, yeah,
honestly, the build quality on the Monome is like I think it's second to none. Uh you literally and maybe even more so on the newer ones that are literally like just this aluminum shell. um you have to actually be pretty hard on them to, I think, break them, like,
yeah. No,
yeah.
absolutely. And I'm not the best gear keeper, and it's solid.
But yeah, I think also it's a testament to Brian at Monomes. I think he holds his standards of building, and they're not a factory. I
Yeah,
think a lot of it is hand built, and they're taking their time, and you can see it. Like, there's definitely periods of over the years where there was a shortage of mono, and they could have outsourced it to China or something, or and maybe banged them out faster and turned a faster profit. But it wasn't. I think sustainability is a big part of yeah the
yeah. And
process.
it seems like, for, at least for what I see, the second-hand market still holding its price.
Yeah,
So that's a testament to the quality.
I do love the wood when they were wood
Oh yeah,
based. It was
dude. It
pretty
still
pretty.
feels so, dude. It's really great. I mean, oh,
Yeah.
amazing build. It's
Yeah,
so awesome.
I also love those big type B USB connectors as well,
Yeah,
like the printer, the big square printer one. Like, it always locks in so nicely. Like, yeah,
it's awesome.
nice. So tell me about Beat Lab, because like that was a big thing, right? Like, opening your own educational school in LA was
Yeah.
kind of huge. Like,
It was. It was also a scary move because I did it by myself. I was, the investor, the manager, the main teacher in the beginning. It was very small. Then we grew a tiny bit. It was a bigger. I would say it was a very positive experience. It was awesome. I love teaching, obviously. I think the main thing that I took from that experience is that I don't like managing people. We ended up being, I had a manager, there was a manager, but we ended up being like 10 people in just the admins, then another like 10 teachers. It was like a big team at the end, and I was still, the head of the school plus the main teacher. Like, when everything administratively coming to you as like, hey, Yuda, make that decision, and then on top of that, I'm not trying to brag or sound pretentious, but if there's a question in class and the teacher can't answer, they say, ask Yuda. So to take those two roles of the main teacher, building all the curriculums, doing, and the administrative head, it was just too much. I so prefer focusing on just the education part. So overall, it was amazing, and the school was awesome. Like, we had hundreds of students over the years, and
mm,
I know people are still, friends with each other, and it was really great. And we did a lot of free workshops, and we had awesome people like Daedalus coming and doing workshops there. But overall, I don't want to own a physical place anymore, and I don't right now. I'm a one man show. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to work with anyone. Just, let me do my own thing, which I love. I feel like I prosper now with just doing my own thing in my
yeah.
house. Just doing that. I love that. But maybe also the times of post pandemic allow that. I
Mm.
don't think I would be able to do what I do now pre pandemic.
Yeah, I think, ultimately you're a creative, you're an artist, and you know, the administrative side of any it's just not, it's not creative, it's not exciting, it's just paperwork. And I can imagine with Beat Lab Academy, like, yeah, that I remember how much it grew, and I remember seeing just how you kind of disappeared because you got so busy running it.
Yeah,
um
yeah, absolutely. And we made a lot of
yeah,
content online, but I was hiding behind the BeatLab, brand.
right,
So
right,
it was Yeuda, but it was BeatLab.
yeah,
So yeah, it was amazing. But honestly, I'm happy to where it led me. I don't think I was where I am today without it, but
right.
I'm happy where I am in this situation where I'm, just with myself. I'm my own boss, of course, and I don't need to manage anyone. I think that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing for me. I just don't want to manage anyone. That's all.
right, right. Yeah, being able to make that transition in the pandemic is it was actually great. I think it was, to me. It feels like for you and your creative practice, your educational practice. Um,
It was a blessing in disguise. It took me a year. It was a forced sabbatical there. Yeah, like I took a
yeah.
year off. That after I closed the school, like, what am I doing? I start singing. I start doing like songs online on Instagram type shit. But it wasn't. There wasn't. I said, oh yeah, maybe I'll be a singer. I was like, what? And ended up naturally. It's like, hey, maybe I can get some of my old students to go and do every Sunday to do kind of like this class workshop. So now that's what I do every Sunday. I teach a workshop, different topics, and then we record it, and people buy the recordings. And that's besides the Max for Life stuff that I sell, and I do a lot of work with Ableton as a content creator, like independent, but for Ableton officially. It's great, dude. I love it. That's what I do.
That first year of the pandemic was super weird because I think, you know, governments, officials were telling us, flatten the curve, whatever. And
Open,
I
close.
so
We
yeah,
still have
yeah,
the
I
school
think
then. The open, close, open, close. It was like, what? That's why I
yeah, I
closed it.
think and I think we all thought like, oh, if we just all put masks on, this will be over in a couple of months. Um,
Exactly. It
the
was.
the and so I think everyone was in limbo for at least a year of like, oh, any minute now it's going to be back to normal. um
I know. It was so confusing. One positive thing, very positive. I was always, I'm a gamer. I love games, video games. I was always like a role playing game. The pandemic did get me into something I never liked, which was the shooters, like the Call of Duty, Battlefield type stuff. And I started playing with my friends. Honestly, it answers some social need that you don't have to leave the house and still hang with your friends. Wow, I love it. So now it still is, that's something that I took from the pandemic, which was amazing.
nice,
Because I was always
nice.
just myself gamer, just give me the role playing story games,
Right,
not
right,
the
right.
not the first person shooters. But it's so much fun.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny. I This comes up from time to time in streams. Like there seems to be this Max for Live, Ableton, DAW crossover into gaming. Um,
dude, listen, I was a gamer before I was a musician, and Ableton, music making in general today, just with the controllers, it's answered that you can come to a point, to a flow level where it's like feels like a game, right?
right,
Before,
right.
once after you pass the beginner stage, like once you get into a flow, it's a game. It's like
Yeah,
it's all a game.
yeah,
We're playing music after all. So
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and something that kind of came to me with the new gamepad functionality that was released with Max was how far game controllers have come as well. Like, from the Super Nintendo and the NES days, right? To the Sony. Yeah, I mean, they're
The
just
This
incredible.
is a
Like,
PlayStation 4. My PlayStation 5 controllers are there. PlayStation 5 controllers are amazing for music. It's
yeah,
like a two touch, it's just a two touch point touchpad. The triggers are continuous controls. and
Yeah.
the joystick. It's like they're really good controllers, like for making
Yeah.
music.
I actually hadn't picked up one of the more advanced game pads for such a long time. And the first time I held it in my hands, I could not believe firstly, how ergonomic it felt. Like, I was like, wow, this feel like I'm physically enjoying having this in my hands. But
Hmm.
then what I realized very quickly was like every digit, without needing to move my wrists or make major arm movements, I have, 16, 17, 20 different inputs with just moving subtly my fingers. Um,
Absolutely.
and I was like, I did compare it to MIDI controllers. There was a lot of advancement in MIDI controllers in the 2000s into the 2010s. And then now it kind of just seems to be a bit of a rinse and repeat kind of thing happening. But I was thinking of the game controller is just this continually developed and advanced user interface or user input device that's occurred over decades.
I
Constant
can,
evolution.
can agree more. The PlayStation 5 controller is extremely, extremely powerful.
Yeah.
For music, I mean, besides games, of course, but for music making, it's incredible. I took that gamepad object, by the way, and I did develop my Max for Live device called Gamepad Control that can, use all those modern video game controllers and very easily map them to Ableton to whatever you want. And I even just built a companion device that listens to the bass frequencies of whatever music you play and vibrates the controller according to the bass. That can kind of add a bit more maybe immersion into the experience of playing music. So yes, I
Mm.
couldn't agree more. I do this for like 20 years now. I love video game controllers. My first one was the Dreamcast arcade stick. I love using them. Maybe I'll show some stuff for making music. There's so much fun.
Yeah,
And these
yeah,
days
yeah.
with Max, I used to use the old HI, human interface object, which was
Mm.
recently updated. But now, honestly, that's only for like old school controllers. But if you have a new controller, the gamepad object is so good, and it supports, I think, hundreds, if not thousands, of controllers. So most controllers will work plug and play with the gamepad object, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. No, it's incredible. I couldn't believe
When
how
someone
cool
asked
it
when
is.
I object was created. Wow, that's an old. I mean, it was just updated, but before that, that was an old object.
Yeah, it's been around a while. It goes back into the 2000s, and could even be uh could even be earlier than that. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah,
I think it existed in Max 4, so that's mid early 2000s. Um, yeah.
yeah, and it's also great now with you can do Bluetooth stuff with pretty low latency with the new controllers as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's just incredible. I think I've always meant to do this. I haven't done it yet, but like I've thought of hacking a controller and taking some of the wireless control possibilities out of it. You could actually, I think, make the ultimate glove by
Oh,
subverting the internal electronics of a PS4 or 5 controller.
man,
Um,
I hacked a Power Glove before, but the Power Glove is such an old technology, but it was still
right.
fun.
Yeah, if
It
you
was
just
still
work out
fun.
how to have all these triggers and stuff, take the shell off, and then yeah,
Exactly,
I think you could do
exactly.
something pretty cool.
Here, maybe I should show some stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Okay.
Folks, we had an Ableton Educators Day event a few weekends ago in Pasadena at Ableton HQ, and Yuta did an incredible presentation on the way that he uses Max for Live and the way that he codes in Max and the way he interfaces with Max for Live using controllers. And honestly, in that workshop, I was like, I have to have Yuta come and hang out on the stream. So here we are. Yuta, what do you got to show us? Let's have a look.
Okay, sweet. Let me also bring up my top camera. Wait, wait. Okay. Yeah, where's my top camera? Just 1 second. Will it come up? No. Okay. Well, I can. What's maybe I'll
It
check
was
here.
there. It was around when we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
our
I don't
check.
know. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. So let me just talk about a few things. As you can see, I have Ableton here. I'm obviously mostly an Ableton user. I do use Max for live or Max, but then build Max for live devices for it for a lot of my personal needs, and then I share them a lot on uh, online, and I'll show you some stuff also to where to get them. God damn it! Why is my phone? Maybe I just need to unlock it. Just 1 second. Will that work now? If not, it's fine. I can show it to the. Hopefully, you guys can see also my Zoom camera. Um, okay, so this is very simple. Let me open up this device. This is to just take this Super Nintendo controller I got from Amazon. It's a very cheap USB controller. And then I built this device using the HI object that we mentioned. Let me just open the device here. I think it's, yeah. Here we go. So here, as you can see, we have the HI object already automatically locking into the controller, and just very, I'm sure there's better ways, and you'll see a lot of stuff today. There's going to be better ways of doing what I'm doing. I'm a very amateur Max programmer, but here I have these notes that are being sent to a pack object with velocity, so just the note name and velocity being sent to MIDI out. And I also have just here an option to change which notes are being sent from each control. And that's basically it. And then in the main interface, I just have here these three tabs that for mapping and for settings if I need to choose a different one. Although it already automatically locks itself to the device because I just tell it what name it is. I then also went to Photoshop and I downloaded this picture. I made other layers. There's other FPIC layers on each button that I
Nice.
photoshopped with just more shadow, you see, to just seem like I'm pressing the button, just so I have visual feedback of what's
Nice.
going on. And then it's just a matter of mapping everything to a drum rack here with some effects and stuff and build a beat. It's kind of an, do I need to close this? Why is will this work? Okay, so this works. I might just show you guys like this so you can see what's happening, because it's quite annoying why my top camera doesn't work, because I want to show also some push stuff. So then I can just play beats. And again, this is all Ableton stuff where I have chords, I have filters, I have lead sounds, glitch effects, kicks, and also everything here talks to each other. So when I play a chord, it's one bass. And then when I play another chord, it's a different bass. Same button. Anyway, it's super fun. I love it. And also this setup of holding the controllers is really, I enjoy this kind of ergonomics of an instrument. So if anyone's interested, because this is custom, this is not shared, but I do have a Max for Live device called Gamepad Control. Where is it? Let me go to my Max for Live stuff.
Yeah, some
Uh,
folks are asking. So Yeuda has a very nicely designed one. Um,
so
there's
this one
some.
called Gamepad Control.
Yeah.
It's specifically for modern controllers like the PlayStation. Then you can open this up and you can map them in all sorts of ways, including the joystick and the chat strips and the uh, gyroscope, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can have up to 4 different controllers. And as I mentioned, also it has a companion device that you can put on audio tracks, and it sends the vibration according to the bass. So your controller vibrates every time there's a bass, which is cool. So this you can get gamepad control. You just search for it. But I do want to mention, if you're a Max developer, you can build it yourself. Let me open this up. Um, it's using the gamepad object. The gamepad object does most of the heavy lifting. Everything else is just kind of like mapping stuff specifically to how I designed it. But you can make it your own with the gamepad object. If you open up the help file of the gamepad object, it will also tell you everything you need to know how to set it up. So I did it. I couldn't have done it without the gamepad object. Everything else is just like whatever, how I designed it. There's other people, user-friendly also made a very awesome one using the gamepad object. So check it out if you want, or build
It's
your
been
own.
interesting to me to see how like you say, that at the heart of it is that gamepad object, but how each different developer has put their own personal spin on the interface, which I think is pretty cool and a testament to why we like this, why we like Max, why we like.
Absolutely. I gotta say one thing. The gamepad, this design is JavaScript user interface, JS UI. It's so complex because it's dynamic. It's uh, it's proportionate to the screen as you move it. The code, I don't know who planned it. It's because my dream was whenever you plug in a controller, it detects what type of controller it is, and then it morphs this to show exactly what the controller looks like. I tried to
Mm.
do it with AI, like to vibe code it. It's too complex for Claude, for Chat, for Gemini. Right now, this JSUI code is too complex to do that, at least for vibe coding. So if anyone knows, that would be super cool, but it would be a lot of code for each controller. But that would be super
I
awesome if I
think
like it.
I think that is a total case where maybe code isn't the way. Like, imagine if you could, the way to do it. I can think of, without needing to make a massive text file in JavaScript, would be to have a bunch of SVGs that are representative of, say, the top 25 or 30 or 40 controllers, right?
Mm.
And just switch the SVG based on. You could still have the visualization be part of the JavaScript over, but the overlay would just be an SVG um, of different controllers.
Man,
Still
that
a
would be
bunch of
so
work.
cool.
Still a bunch of work, but actually probably more lightweight um, computationally. Just an
Whatever
idea.
works, whatever works. But that was just, that would be super cool. David, I don't know why my top camera doesn't work, so I'll just shift my webcam to show so I can show you all the other stuff. So this was video game controllers. It's super fun. I love it, and you can do it yourself today with the gamepad object, which is super cool. Okay, couple of other things I want to show just again as a Max amateur hacker. Here's another thing. There is, let me just show, I'm going to start a new project here. There is a Max 4 device that is super old school called Instant Afro. I'm sorry, Instant Afro is what I've, Instant House. Instant House is from the Max 4 Live Essentials pack.
Oh
Uh,
man, I
you
remember
remember this
Instant
one?
House.
So Instant House. And the thing here is like a sequencer that's already have built-in patterns, and you can load a drum rack after it. Let's load like a house drum rack. And then you just hit spacebar. It's already have these patterns that are being sent, they're sending to specific notes, usually already designed for a drum rack. And then if I just hit spacebar, okay, it's already playing. And then I can randomize the patterns. it's super fun, especially if you map it to controllers. If you jam with people who don't know music so much, they can still play the drums in or just with knobs or buttons to randomize, which is really fun. And it even have patterns here for breakbeats and not just house. So I figured, hey, the patterns are gotta be somewhere, and it's probably numbers. So I opened up the device, and then I tried to look. I went into coding mode, or not coding. What's it called? Presentation patching mode,
Yep.
and then and then I figured, where is it? Looked for it. I looked for it. I figured, let's go inside the kick here. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the patterns for the kick. Here's the patterns for the snare, and so on. So I took my time and I figured, hey, at the time I had a student at the school, Simi. If you guys know Simi, she's like huge in Nigeria, like top 3 artists. She was a student in my school. And she really got me into Afro beats. I'm talking like 10 years ago. Um, and I was like, wait, maybe I can take all these patterns and instead of house and break beats, I can make more the clave based rhythms, the rhythms that are more syncopated for dancehall and reggaeton and Afro beats. So
Yeah.
I made this. This is exactly the same device, just with different patterns. Let's solo this. Okay, and then you can randomize the patterns. Okay, this is free. I just don't
Love
have it
it.
online right now, but people have been sharing this online. So if you search Instant Afro Max File, you can find this. So this is just kind of like how I took a existing device, had an idea, opened it up without knowing what's going on there, but I figured the pattern's gotta get stored somewhere. And I took my time and just made different patterns for each sequencer here. So that's Instant Afro. Check it
And
out.
you've just shown
It's
one of the
free.
beauties of being able to edit, an existing Max for Live device, and that's having something where you're like, oh, this is cool, and I like the functionality, but I want to augment it to do something a little different. Um,
Exactly.
this
Exactly.
device is great. Instant Afro, I love it.
Thank you. And it's free. So again, I don't have it on my website right now, but if you search it, you can find it. I think people shared it, and there's a Google Drive somewhere that has it. So check it out. Let me show you. Also, I will first show you this. So we talked about the mono. The mono had this amazing sequencer called Flynn, where each column used to be kind of like a drop. It kind of drops the LEDs. Then when it reaches the bottom or when it goes to the top, it triggers a note. So each column is a note. I love that sequencer so much. So I was like, hey, how can I bring it to the push? This is where I got it because it was so beyond my capabilities. This is where it's like, let me try to see if I can vibe code it. So I went to Claude, I think it was Claude I started with, and I asked it exactly what I want. Hey, there's this sequencer in Flynn. I gave him the web page. I explained what it is. I want to translate it to the push. And I knew that the push had this new object called live.push, which allows you to access the grid and LEDs. Guys, let me just a second. I'm going to treat my camera. And we're going to flip it. Just a second, because my phone is not working right now. I usually use my phone as a camera. Let's flip this. Okay. Okay. So it took me months to develop this device. This, if I open it up, actually, this is the main version, so I don't think I can open it up right now because you see there's a patch here, secret code, and I did where it's closing automatically. I learned this trick from my friend OCH, but I think you can still access the JavaScript. There's a JavaScript code inside of it that took me a long time developing with vibe coding. I went to Claude, I asked it, it created something and it was some issues. So I went to a different AI, told that, hey, I have this, but there's this problem. Try to fix it there. Then he created new issues and back and forth between about 5 different AIs. That's my work. That's my vibe coding technique. I go to one AI, they create problems. And if you ask them to fix those problems, they're creating new problems out of them. So I find that going between AIs helps me get to where I want. So as you can see, there is still a lot of Max programming here, but what I'm saying is the main brain, and you'll see with other devices, is with vibe coding. I know it's maybe frowned upon, but I'm not a programmer, and I want to make this happen, and I
Mm.
did. So this is what's happening right now. I have this device. Whoops. And this is just for MIDI. Everything else, I have some instrument here and some MIDI effects to keep it in key. But now I can hit space, I can hit play it, and now I can start triggering each column. The higher it is, the slower the note is. You see, it slowly drops down.
Mm.
When it reaches the bottom, it's going to trigger a note. The lower I trigger the note, here, the lower I trigger the note, the faster it is. I can also hold multiple notes to create a longer note, you see. I can then shift it with the page. You see, I can shift the notes. I can go up and down octaves. I can change the scale degrees distance between. I even have a guide here. It will change according to if it's push 1 or push 2 or push 3. It will change how it explains what's happening. And there's a lot, you can go inside, there's a lot of pages here. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Okay? So this you can download it. You can buy this, by the way, on my website, Flynn for push. So this is for push 2 and push 3. And I can even change the speeds here. Okay, and this is just an ambient sound right now. You can even, there is even a drum mode when you can change the notes to be more for drum racks. So it's really cool. I love it. I use it. And I use it in live shows. I use it in the studio just because I love that sequencer so much. And I was able to translate it to the push thanks to vibe coding and some. I still know Max, but I don't know Max as most of you. I can guarantee it. Okay, I just kind of know Max. And I also ask a lot of the community on Discord and stuff. The community is amazing, super helpful, and sometimes you get answers from like top-notch Max programmers, like the guy from Fours always answers, and he's, I forget, Ash, I forget.
Yes. Yeah.
S, yeah. And it's amazing. So kudos to the community. Really awesome stuff for the community. So this is something I was able to build, and I'll show you some other stuff. I do also want to share this thing. This is something I developed with a co-developer, OCH. He used to be based in Portugal. Now he's teaching at a university in China, South China.
Oh
And
wow.
he might be here, but I know it's too late for him. It's like 2 a.m. I saw him in the beginning of the stream, but I don't know if OCH is still here. So I developed this for my classes. It was a very primitive version. He helped me make it a bit more substantial to release. And the main thing here is just the ability to display a keyboard for my students where I teach music theory. And the biggest thing here is also an algorithm we developed, again, using vibe coding with extensive chord detection,
Mm.
like really extensive inversions and omitting and altered chords and all of that. Now, I'm showing this, you can already get this. I'm showing this because we're working on a new version. The only thing now, our main issue is interface. This is too crowded because we're going to have a push display. It's going to
Oh
display what
wow.
the push is doing with chord detection and all of that. But then what I'm excited about is that I'm also developed this auto scale. So look at the global scale of Ableton, and when I play a chord, it's going to change that. Okay, it's going to change the global scale.
Oh wow.
So that means that I can use my sequencers, and it's going to change the scale of these notes in real time. So it's accompanying me according to my plane.
That's cool. That's very cool.
And you can see the scale MIDI effect here being changed. Okay, so this is something that is upcoming with a free update to the keyboard monitor. You can only get the keyboard monitor, but it doesn't have this auto scale function or this push monitor that is coming
Oh, I
in the
think
next
adding
version.
adding the push monitor is brilliant, Yeuda.
Yeah, this is something we had a huge request from a lot of people. There was a few limitations that now they're starting to add to Max communication with the push. So it's coming. We're working on it, guys. You can get the keyboard 1.2 already with all features except this auto scale. Whoa. except this auto scale and the push monitor, which are coming in the next free update for this Max for Live device. So if anyone just want to visualize their chords, even if I have a chord here and I have my keyboard open up and I highlight this with this, you see, even that tells me what chord it is. So this is also something I try to do as a MIDI tool. We'll see if we can do that, so it can at least show us the chords. It's something that Ableton is missing, extensive chord detector. We do have one in the expressive chords, but it's not an extensive algorithm. Like, I want all the chords. There's about 40,000 chords in ours, and we're improving it as we go. So it's something that I use because I teach a lot of music theory, and I find it to be valuable with this. As you can see also, this is using the keyboard, the K slider object, but we also took the time to put the notes on each one. So it's easier for students to see which notes
Yeah,
you're actually playing.
that's very slick, Yeuda.
Thank you.
Love it.
So this is what we use a lot. Probably our most sold device, I would say. It's $7 if anyone's interested on the website. And by the way, if anyone wants my Max for Live devices, here it is, sidebrain.net. I still couldn't get the com after all these years. I don't know who owns it, but sidebrain.net /max-for-live. That's all the Max for Live devices here, and there's a few free ones as well you can check out. Nice. So these are stuff that I use for my teachings and stuff that I use for live performance. This took me a long time to develop. I don't want anyone to think that, oh, using vibe coding, that's cheating. It still took me months to develop. I just used the chatbots as a co-programmer developer, like someone with ideas and product management can use his programmers team to develop together stuff. So it was just collaborating with the chatbots in a way of vibe coding, but it still took a long time to develop this. So it's not making things easy, it's just making things possible for non-programmers like me, okay? Via JavaScript, which has its own limitations. I would say, ideally, objects are the best because they seems to be work the fastest. JavaScript might have some latency added a tiny bit, but still, it's working and I love it and it's super cool. Okay? Guys, I'm moving fast because I want to show you as much things as possible. But if there's any questions, let us know in the chat. Okay. Here's another cool one. Check this out. So I wanted to do, I'll show you this. Let's go here. And I'm going to use my MIDI fighter for this. I'm going to hold it like this so I don't press any push buttons. Same thing as the push, just a grid of buttons. In this case, arcade buttons. They don't have velocity sensitivity. But I use this a lot for momentary effects. So this, I'll show you in a second. Excuse me. Let me just load this project. Okay, I needed a way to hold this button, let's say, and send it to a reverb or send it to a delay. And then I wanted to also hit another button to mute. But I wanted to mute to be synchronized. Eighth notes, quarter note, whatever it is. So first of all, I'll show you how I set up. I have a whole 30-minute video on momentary effects on YouTube. You can check it out. And a guide on my website all about momentary effects. So here I have these momentary effects. Let's say this rev delay is using the envelope MIDI, and it's sending, you'll see, let me launch this. Okay, it's sending, you'll see if I hold this, you see it's just to the send knobs, okay, momentary. But I also have, let's go on this track, I also have this utility that when I hold the mute button, you see it's synchronized. So that I did by building a Max for Live device that is going before the envelope MIDI, automatically lock itself to the attack time, calculating the eighth notes or the time division according to your BPM, and setting up that. I wish it was a built-in feature, but this is another example of I needed a device to do something. I had to break my head around how to do it. I went on maxforlife.com and searched for similar devices, or search for devices to do something like that, so I can extract some code out of it, or went to the forums and ended up, doesn't use any JavaScript, it's all objects, but ended up building this. It took me a while, but again, it's auto locking, so it doesn't matter which one you load first, it will auto lock itself to the attack. And then, as you can see, I can change the timing. It will change the attack time, and then I can do stuff like this. Okay, it's all synchronized mutes, which is super great for this type of send effects. Okay, so here's another example. Also, this you can get from my website if anyone is interesting. Oh, but yeah, someone said, I remember you advising people to read the Ableton manual twice before asking questions. This was specifically for people who wants to become Ableton certified trainers. I said that for people who ask about certification program. Like, yes, read the manual twice before you ask any questions, because if you want to become a certified trainer, the technical knowledge is a given. You have to know everything, at least most of everything, and then they test you on the presentational skills, because the technical stuff is a given, or needs to be a given. Okay, this is the envelope MIDI attack sync that's available for download. You can check it out. Let me show you, and I talked to Tom extensively about this, the MLR. This is something that I so wish will come to the move or the push and be just a feature that we can use. Again, another thing from the monome. Live loop cutting. Live loop cutting allows us to take loops. I have a video about this also, how to set it up, not only with the push. I have a free Max for Live device called MLR Live. You can use any controller for it. Check out my YouTube. But I'm going to show you this thing that I'm working on specifically for the push, but it's limited because of what Max for Live can do right now with the push. So it's not released, it's not finished, but let me show you a proof of concept, also with a lot of vibe coding. Live loop cutting allows you to take loops and spread them across a row where each pad is a different cue point, a different place in the loop, a different time. It used to be, Daedalus used to be the pioneer of this. He's still using some Max for Live stuff for it. So this device right here does exactly that, takes the bottom 4 rows and turn them into live loop cutters. So I can launch a clip here. You see it's going. Then I can. And then I also have here, these are the actual Max for Live stuff. I have recorders. So I can record, because right now the live loop cutting is using the built-in Ableton functionality, but I can record this. Okay. Here with I was also able to do long press, short press, and do all this logic thanks to Max vibe coding and Max for Live. Let me lock the stop button, and we can stop. Why do I need to stop? Why I need to stop this? Okay, and then you can also do some melodic stuff. Right, and you can record all of that. And here I have again momentary effects for each row. So it's super fun, and I wish it was built in on the push. Right now I'm just hacking my way around it. My main issue is, if anyone knows, I can't take this square, this colored square, and I can't jump it from Max for Live. Like this square. Like where is focused in Ableton. I can't use Max for Live to move this colored square, if anyone knows. That's my main issue right now with this device. Okay. Let me show you just some other. I'll show this also. Here's another cool one. Here. Yes, the same if you want to make Max for Live. Absolutely, I agree. If you want to become a Max certified trainer. If you buy it, can we open it up and see how it works? Yeah, you can. You can open it up. I think if there's JavaScript, it might be hidden behind like a fake patch that closes automatically. But I'm pretty sure you can look at the files that come with the patch and just open it up from there.
It's one of the beauties of it. I mean, I don't think anyone's getting too worried about privacy, um, even with paid devices. And there's general etiquette in the Max for Life community that, maybe you do take something from a device, but my general consensus is, throwing a link back to the original or shout out or is is pretty good.
Yep, absolutely.
I think the only area that it's a bit taboo is to, just basically take a one for one copy and rename it and then sell it. That's
I know. I would say like my main concern, for example, with the keyboard monitor is if someone takes my chord detection algorithm, because it took me a while and I'm very proud of it. So that's like one thing I'm kind of like, hey, that's like what
I think in
distinct
those
my keyboard
yeah, I hear you. I think in those instances, though, what most people, it's an anomaly that someone's actually going to do it because usually it's probably so advanced for them to try and wrap an interface to interact with it. It would make more sense for them to build their own from scratch.
could be. Hope so. Hope so.
I
But yeah,
have
guys,
I've seen one or two moments of this in the community over 15 odd years. So it's yeah.
I mean, also, and granted, I learn a lot. That's why, like, how I mainly learn from going and seeing others people patches. Not
Yeah.
only for like actual patching, but like device management, how they organize stuff, how they color code, like a lot of stuff. I learn from other people, and that's the beauty of Max. Just open it up, open anything up, mod it, or just learn from it. Take pieces of code. Like for example, I take and I save snippets. Here is an example. There's an amazing device from a friend programmer, Zach Steinkamp, called chiastic slide, which is you have a video all about this, and he has this continuous knob here. You see, I'm just keeping going up, and it's quite an easy hack that he came up with. So I took it, opened it up, and I found it where it is in the patch, and then here it is. I highlighted it. Wait, no, where is it? It's here. I think it's this one. It's somewhere here. And then I just highlighted and saved it as a snippet so I can use it on in my own projects. Right click. Where is it? Save snippet. So I had it. So that's I can't say I'm not learning so much from other people.
Right,
There's some
right,
stuff
right.
you work hard on, It's but that's part of the environment. That's part of the community. The reason it's so developed and the community is so prosperous and developed is because they learn from each other and take from each other. So there's always positives and negatives for those things. Here's another thing I built for push. I turn it into an effects unit. So each one of these is a momentary effect. I built this very simple Max for Light device just to show which effect I'm currently playing. And it even is taking over these buttons and making a visual metronome. Let me play that. You see? That you can change also in all sorts of ways. So that's just a visual metronome. And then here, so it's a template for Ableton. But what's cool about this is that I made, oh no, it's not, let me load the actual one. Oh, maybe I can load it from here. I made a way to make the encoders momentary. So because you touch the encoder, it's not only a continuous control, but it's a touch. So it sends like a message or a touch or a MIDI note into Ableton. So I was able, where is it? I guess I don't have the most recent one here. Let me go here, here, and right here. And I'll just drag the device. Maybe, yeah, no, you know what? I'll just drag the entire thing. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna drag the template. This is how you would work with it if you have the template, you can get it on my website. So you just drag it in, give it a second. Yeah, here we go. And then you can route whatever track you want into the template. And then it doesn't only have those 64 effects, it also have 8 encoder effects, all custom, and they're momentary encoders. So you can turn it up, then you can let go, and it turns off the effect, which would be, again, would be cool if it's a built-in feature, but I don't know why. Let's send this here. Let's see this. Here you see I have this Max for Live device that looks like a rack, but it's a Max for Live device. And then I just need to focus on this, lock it. Nice. Oh, why it won't lock? That's weird. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't need to lock. I need to show this. Here we go. So here I move it up. Let go. You saw that? Okay, I don't know why this one not. But here, move it up. Let go. Oh, because I locked it to the other device. Let's unlock this. Let's go here, here. Here we go. Okay, so that means that I play. Then I can.
It's side brain.
Anyway, I think I did it. I asked the chat to do the math. There's like 6 quadrillion combinations here of effects. You can stack them up. Anyway, a lot of stuff. Let me just share, if anyone's interested in some free Max for Live devices, you can get them on our website before we're done. We have these track numbers, which will automatically, doesn't matter where you load it, will add smart numbering to all the tracks. So that can be very useful in big projects because it allows to very easily to see in the menus. There's this silly Max for Live device. It's very silly. You don't need this. But if you want it, it's on my website for free, which is a MIDI visualizer. So you just, let's load here, and then it just visualize your notes. And there's a bunch of different animations and different. Okay, it's silly. MIDI Viz. It's free. Wait. Okay, and okay, and there was another one that is not out yet, but I'm going to release it soon, which is the push safe control. This one, again, just took me a while, and I just use maxed objects, but it allows you to eliminate stuff that just you don't want them to work. And it's going to, you see, it also turns off the lights. If you want to make a safe performance with the push, so some stuff are not clickable. So that's going to be out soon. And that's it. So much more to share, but I guess let's do some Q&A, see if people have any questions.
Yeah, folks, if you got any questions, drop them in the chat. We've got Yeuda here for a couple more minutes.
Let me bring back my camera. There we go. Oh, let me flip me again. Do I need to flip? No, I don't need to flip because this, okay,
No,
I
no,
know the
that
camera.
looks good here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, any questions for Yeuda, folks? Anything at all? Drop them in the chat.
We buy it, can we open up? And yeah, you can see how it works. A guitar view. Wow, someone asked about a guitar view. That would be super cool. I saw Max for Live device that is already have that. That looks super extensive and awesome. So just search on maxforlive.com fretboard. Fretboard looks really
Oh,
cool.
wow. So that gives you
Check
the
it out.
all your tabs you need. Yeah.
I think it's like more than just showing a guitar layout. There's a lot of features here, and it looks super cool. So check it out for guitar. But that's maybe something we'll add in the future. Right now, we want to focus on the auto scale and the push display. Hopefully, it will be released soon. Great, Todd. I'm glad everything was clear. Yeah, of course. Glad you like it. Absolutely. Guys, if anyone wants to uh, ask any questions or follow me, just search Sidebrain on or everywhere, all the platforms. Of course, my website, but Sidebrain anywhere, one word, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is, Blue Sky, whatever you have. And I'm there and I'm posting a lot of Ableton information. Not a lot of, I mean, I love Max for Live and I share Max for Live stuff, but not a lot of Max standalone stuff. I wish I was more proficient in Max. I'm more of a Ableton Max for Live guy, but always learning. Amazing. Paul said if he needs a push now. Paul, you don't need a push. You don't need a push. It's fun. It's amazing. I honestly, it's hard for me to think if I would really buy it because again, I'm an Ableton certified trainer. I work a lot with Ableton. I was the only few people that Ableton actually gave a push tree before it came out, so I can showcase and teach and stuff like that. But it's an expensive piece of gear. It's amazing. If you think you're gonna use it a lot, yes, but it can very easily end up not being used uh, and just collect dust in your studio. So really think about it if you want. It's amazing, but really think if you like this type of grid, playing around with that. But as you can see, you can do so much more. And I think Ableton will even add more and more options for Max and Max for live development for the push. So there might be some exciting stuff coming in the future as well. Yes. Is this Max for Light device about the Super Nintendo controller? Someone asked if the Max for Light device is up. No, it's not. I do have the gamepad control that you can download. The Super Nintendo one is not online. It's something that I use personally. I'll think maybe I'll share it one day. Right now, it's not. This one is. Okay, but this controller is like an old school one, so it needs the HI object. This one using the gamepad object. So
I like Paul's question here. Any chance you'll do a metal genre course? I love
yes,
Ableton Max, but
where
never see it's. I
where
This is
where
something I also think of. Like I never see the more. I don't see a lot of the heavier genres,
yeah. Where
noise,
is it? I don't see
doom.
that. Oh, yeah, okay. I see that question. Absolutely. I First of all, I gotta say that I come from punk rock, so I love the more guitar. I have a lot of guitars here, if you can see in my room. I love it. It will come very soon. It's something that we'll try to make accessible also for people who don't have the live instruments and maybe can use plugins like Contact and stuff. But yeah, absolutely. If you sign up to the newsletter, we do announce every week the topic. We will come to those genres. We will come to the metal, to the punk rock, to the rock, to all those stuff, because it's such a awesome way to also learn about music. Because a lot of it is, at least the punk rock and some of the rock stuff, it's not extremely complex theory. Of course, if you're going into metal, speed metal, all those, it might math rock, it might become much more complex. But it's a great way to learn music, I think. So we will absolutely get to them soon. Uh,
In Ableton with its grid is probably perfect for math rock.
Absolutely. I would say a lot of the rock genres today with the plugins, you don't even have to. Obviously, it would be great if you actually play the instruments, but you don't even have to do that in order to achieve a decent sound and a decent backing music for this type of styles. Math rock, it's starting to be a bit more complex if you start changing. Even that you can program, but the time signatures and the cool riffs and be in the pocket. So maybe it's a bit beyond, but we'll absolutely get there because I think there's so much value for electronic musicians to take from the more live instrument styles like metal and punk rock and rock and all of those. Absolutely. For sure, we'll do that. Someone asked, how hard would it be to change the device to work with another controller? I have a Launchkey X. Which device? The Flynn? Are you referring to the Flynn carry?
Uh,
Um, I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. It's just a matter of how the launch key. Which device is he talking about? We'll wait for him to
I
finish
think
talking.
he's talking about Flynn.
The
I'm
Flynn.
guessing.
So I can tell you that I was already starting to port the Flynn to the Move, but only because Max for Live or Max have an object called live.push that can also be used with Move. You just have to change a few stuff there. When it comes to the Launch Key X, I think it's mostly MIDI information and not specifically through Max objects that you might have to learn the protocol of which pad corresponds to which, the velocity and the coloring. But so meaning you have to maybe translate the device to launch key, but it might be something we can do in the future. Oh, launchpad, yeah, launchpad, absolutely. Absolutely. I can say that the live trigger effects template that I have, this works on all grid controllers, and there's even templates that comes with it. So if you have the launchpad, you can use this. If you have the MIDI fighter, you can use that, and it's already comes. Love to run a demo project that did the momentary effects on top of the slicing on the bottom. I mean, that's what I have right now in my proof of concept, but it's not out yet, the live loop cutting. Although, guys, as I mentioned, if you go and search MLR Live Sidebrain, you would find this video explaining how to set it up in Ableton with any controller, including launchpads, and a free Max for Live device that allows you to do it easily. So there's a video there. It's free. Oh, Launchpad X, yeah, I think again, it's just learning the protocol. I think Launchpad X is more about using their editor and it's MIDI. It's like MIDI information rather than Max stuff. Do you have a desire to make a synth or drum synths? Damn, listen, DSP. I know Max, so Max, I can kind of get my way around it. Like the data transfer side of Max MSP. MSP, dude, that's so beyond me. That's so beyond me, man. I wish I knew. It's like I feel like there's so much. So I have you guys all know, he's a good friend, Dylan Baston. Sometimes I meet with him or I hire him for consultation. He's a master in DSP. He really knows the math things behind the equations, everything that you have to know. It's so far. I wish I knew it. I wish I knew it. I think I do need to encourage myself to experiment with DSP, meaning like just throw a bunch of objects and see what happens. Maybe put a
Yeah.
limiter or turn it down and just play around with numbers and stuff because you can get a lot of cool, unexpected results. But when it comes to intentionally building DSP patches, I wish. I wish.
I think you could do it, Yeuda. I think you could do it.
You think? I don't know, dude. It looks so complex with the math and the stuff that I don't
Yeah,
even
but you
know.
can start, if you just stick with, if you don't go to Gen and you just stick with like vanilla MSP cycle objects, start with a basic FM synth or something.
Of course,
Yeah.
I think for experimentation and learning, yes. I just don't think I can get to a level of building a synth that is, worthwhile and maybe pushing the envelopes a tiny bit beyond the basic stuff. Like Dylan does with his new entanglement, or Fours does like beautiful, amazing synths that I love. And I just, you know, I wish. It's something that I wish, because even jitter, I can tell you jitter, I want to know more about it. Just the basics. I wish there was more. Just give me the basics, because I do find a lot of times with jitter tutorials, it's like, yes, I can follow you step by step, but I just don't understand the concepts. I need to understand.
Mm,
I don't understand, like, okay, what's a world? How do I build a world? What's all of this? It's just a lot of tutorials that I've seen, and maybe I didn't find the right ones. It's like, hey, do this, and this to get this result. But
yeah,
why? How do I take this knowledge and apply it to, doing my own stuff? But even
right.
there, it's a lot of playing around because jitter is also so exciting. What I'm saying is, I'm kind of comfortable in max. MSP and jitter is beyond me. You know.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Yuda, this has been awesome. Wow.
Thank you so much
Folks,
for
as
having me, dude.
yeah, man, of course. I mean, it had to happen. Um, you know, yeah, it just had to happen. So, folks, we're going to wrap it up now. Gigantic thanks to Yuda for hanging out with us, telling us his story, and running us through what he's been up to. And I think there's some great insights here too. Like, I think Yuda shows that, with the tools that are out there, you can absolutely uh, augment stuff, make it your own, build stuff from scratch with new exciting tools that are coming up in the world of technology. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just a
Uh,
tip for Ableton users. One last tip, Tom. Thank you for having me. I think they removed this button, so you can go to the
yes.
options TXT and add Max Developer something something. Check the release notes, and you can get this button back if
Yeah,
anyone's
you can
interested.
also hit the three little dots in the right corner and edit in Max.
Yeah. This is how bad I am in Max, by the way, guys. Okay, look at this. This is how bad
It's
I am.
beautiful.
Thank you. I don't think you're supposed to do this, but yes, this is this is how I build stuff.
I love seeing patch cords fanned out like that. I don't know. It's something. It reminds me of these artworks that people make where they put nails all around and then they join the string between the
Yeah.
nails to make, geometric patterns. Um, yeah.
Whatever works, works, you know? If it works, it
Well, this
works.
this is the thing. There's actually the only wrong way in Max is if it doesn't work, right?
Right.
If it doesn't work, then it's wrong. It's not the thing you want. But it doesn't matter how you get to it. I think yes, there's different levels of efficiency, right? But if you get to the desired outcome, then that's fine. It works. If it works, it works. The nature of Max, and I mean actually in code in general, is that there's always, 10, 15 different ways that you could absolutely do it.
Yes.
Um, yeah. All
Yes.
right, folks, we're going to wrap it up there. Next week, let me just check the calendar. Next week, I think we have Thorsten Cyborg from the Algorithmic Art Assembly, which is happening on the last weekend of March in San Francisco at Gray Area. Thorsten is coming along next Wednesday to talk to us about all things algorithmic music, and we actually might have um, a couple of secret guests drop in as well.
Mm.
So that's going to be a fun one. Thorsten has been in the world of electronic music, algorithmic music code for a long, long time, since the 90s. And he put the Algorithmic Art Assembly is incredible. It's an incredible event. If you happen to be in San Francisco, check it out at the end of the month. But that will be next Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Yuda, thank you so much
Amazing.
for coming.
Dude, thank you, man. That was amazing.
All
Pleasure.
right, folks. Be well. Farewell.
Peace, everyone.
Nice work, mate.
Thanks, man. That was awesome. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me.
of course. My pleasure.